songs, let me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc, where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Professionalism comes with everything you have to do on the back end of things. You know, community service is such a big thing because we're working for our towns and for the people. You're not thinking about you personally, you're thinking about other people's needs. I think a huge thing, because then it's showing you, your empathy and your caring towards them and what their needs and wants are. When you're looking to better, a park or a facility, you're looking at safety aspects.
All right, this is Craig LeBlanc live with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. This is our leadership series. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty with our, but we figured it out. And so we have a special guest from West Manchester, Pennsylvania. The state is hosting the national convention coming up this year in Philly, and it doesn't look like she's too far away. Hopefully her team is able to attend. But Kelsey Paul is going to be our guest today. And today is a very special day for DPRS Media Network. This is our 499th show. And the next show coming up as soon as this show is over is the Youth Sports Mastery Show. It's going to be our 500th episode. And we have a special treat for everybody. And a couple of guests are coming on and show hosts. So we're just going to celebrate a little at about 2 o'clock Eastern time. So stay tuned for that. Really appreciate all the love and support that we've gotten to get us this far as we aspirationally seek to create basically an ESPN style media network, but instead of sports, it's going to be all things parks and recreation. We have 10 weekly or monthly shows in addition to this show, which is the leadership series. We've got a show all about aquatics, one of the latest shows we launched on Fridays. Thursdays, right after this show, we have the Youth Sports Mastery Show. Wednesday, we partner with Henry County, Georgia, to produce 2 shows monthly called The Rec Room and Safe Spaces. Every single Tuesday, John Prue, who's been working with the military parks and recreation, we produce a weekly show every Tuesday called On the Front Line. And then on Monday, twice a month, we make something about technology and how the parks are getting smarter, not just on the software, but on the hardware side. So we have a show called Smart Parks Forward. In addition to a couple of other things that we're doing, it's crazy the growth that we've had over this last year, and only been at this for 15 months. I swear I feel like I've been doing this for about a decade. But we'll have a little transition that Chris made for us. Let's go ahead and play that. And then Jovi, you can immediately run the 2 promos. Actually, huge shout out to Outdoor Link, who has been with us really since day one. If you are, and they're one of the vendors that has been serving the Parks and Rec community for quite a while now, but they help cities become smart cities. And so if you would like to be able to control your splash pads, parking lot lights, baseball field lights, bathroom door locks, all from a centralized location on a mobile device or an iPad or a desktop, you can control your whole city at a super affordable price point. I think one of their units is like $950. You control an entire sports complex with that. And so if you want to learn more about that, not only will you be getting some great control over your city, but you will help sponsor the Daily Parks and Rec Show so we can continue on our journey to build out the next great media company of America, all focused on parks and recreation. So Jovi, why don't you hit those 3 promos, and then we'll come back and start our conversation with Kelsey.
Welcome to DPRS Media Network, the voice of parks and recreation professionals, where leadership grows, facilities thrive, and communities connect. Leadership Series, Insights from the Leaders Shaping Our Industry. Facility Maintenance, the backbone of safe and sustainable spaces. Young Professionals Network, empowering the next generation of Parks and Rec leaders. The Rec Room, real conversations, real stories, real impact. Youth Sports Mastery, elevating the game for athletes and communities. Smart Parks Forward, innovation driving the future of recreation. On the front line, honoring those who serve our communities every day. Athletes Commute, the journey behind the performance. The Aquatics Life, everything aquatics, safety, staffing, sustainability. Safe Spaces and Green Spaces, a show exploring the connection between nature and mental well-being. And we don't just tell the stories, we show up where it happens. From local gatherings to national parks and recreation conferences, DPRS Media Network is on the ground, capturing conversations, highlighting innovation, and amplifying the voices shaping our industry's future. DPRS Media Network, connecting parks, empowering people, inspiring communities.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. All from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the daily Parks and Rec show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
All right. Welcome to the show, Kelsey. How's your week treating you?
Hey, Craig, thanks for having me. Doing well. Just ready to, get into our spring and finally get rid of this cold front that's been around here in PA. So just, love this time of year.
I love your background. It looks so official, like you're a part of a city. I want to vote for you with that background.
Not me in this position, but yeah.
Yeah, so y'all have a tremendous state. I can't wait till one day. We visit about 15 to 20 state associations, and I've heard nothing but great stuff about Pennsylvania. And so I can't wait to have their show. We just got back from California and Illinois, which are two other big states, but y'all are doing a great job over there.
Yeah, PA is really great with all the educational sessions and everything that they put on, webinars. Really great team that we have in this state. So it's really easy to get involved and then also just stay in the loop with trends and everything happening. I highly speak of them as well.
Yeah. And so I want to get into your story, but I guess while we're on the topic, so tell us about your involvement with is it PRPS, correct?
Yeah. So I just got off a 2 and a 1 year term with the board of directors. So being a part of that group was just awesome. Bringing in the new executive director. So that was a great process as well.
This year?
This year.
Oh, wow.
Had an interim from last year, and then she was promoted into that role. So just being a part of the back end of that and how it operates as a nonprofit, it's just awesome to see. And then, just really been involved with, I co-chaired our conference last year in 2025.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was so much fun. Got a great team behind me that, that came and helped and put on a wonderful conference for our state. And then this year just was on the socials co-chair as a committee member as well. So just love being a part of it and representing, and then also just getting some new faces in the door in this field and showing them what it's all about.
Man, now what's her name? I want to take note of it now.
For PRPS?
Yes.
Nikki Tusher.
Nikki, how you spell that last name?
Tourscher. You definitely need to get connected, because
yes,
I'd love to have you in PA.
Yes, I'd love to have her as a guest on the show one day, just to tell her what's her vision for the state association.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Be awesome.
Okay, so we got a lot of topics that I want to talk about. I want to talk about YPN, your direct to school experience, and of course, what's going on in West Manchester. But I'd first like to dig a little back into your backstory. How did you get into Parks and Recreation? Were you like a park rat that kind of grew up in Parks and Rec, or you figured it out later in life?
I feel like I always have been without realizing it. First job, in high school was a camp counselor in my hometown. So at the time, just the best summer job for 3 hours a day, and then started babysitting right afterwards, taking the kids to the playground after. But then, went to school and talked to a professor when I was touring the school I ended up going to, and he talked about recreation management. And I just, was like, this is so fun. No one tells you about this. You don't go to school thinking you're going to be in recreation. It just kind of happens. So all 4 years, went for recreation, did some internships out west at national parks, and just love nature and everything Parks and Rec. And you can do so much in this field. So kind of just have always been in it and nonstop,
Fantastic.
Is your life.
All right. So tell me about those internship programs. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. So with school, we had to complete 2 different internships. So I went out to the Grand Canyon and I worked at a rec center out there.
No way.
And it was actually at the national park. It's just for employees who work there. You can utilize the fitness center, go on trips, different classes. So it was very internal, but very awesome. A whole different kind of atmosphere than I was used to. And then the next summer I went to Rocky Mountain National Park, and I worked at the YMCA of the Rockies in Estes. And again, same kind of idea, way different YMCA than everyone's used to. You can stay over. It's a whole kind of like resort. And as a family programmer, we planned, the fun that parents would bring their kids to, like night hikes and education in the water and the rivers. And then also just led different campfires and different activities for them to have fun while they were there at the YMCA.
Wow.
So,
man, you found like the cheat code to life. You started out. I can't believe you did an internship so I had never been to the Grand Canyon. And then we got to where we had to drive from New Orleans to Long Beach, California. It was like a 30-hour drive. But we were passing the Grand Canyon. I was like, well, we can't pass it. It was like 40 minutes off the road. It was the first time I had been to it. And it was just breathtaking. I can't imagine doing an internship there.
Yeah. And as a young, junior in college, I had 2 big suitcases. I got dropped off, went to the nearest airport, but had to take a train from there with all my luggages, and then showed up, and it was just like a big summer camp, but brand new place, but breathtaking was definitely it. So I'm so thankful for those opportunities, because you'll never get to be on your own and live at, a national park when you're an adult, unless that's your path.
What an adventure. I mean, that really sounded like just an adventure. And Parks and Rec is almost a nonstop adventure. You get to go on either your local community or can work for one of the state or national parks.
Oh, yeah.
What was some of the work that y'all did over at the Grand Canyon internship?
Really just, I planned different events for people that were there. But also we had a lot of international students that worked on site for the national park. It wasn't with the National Park Service, but it was Xanterra, one of the, companies that is a part of a lot of national parks. And so our staff, we organized these trips for anyone working on their off day to go. So the closest Walmart was 2 hours away. So that was even a low key bus trip of hey, do you want to go shopping?
Go to Walmart.
Or go see some water somewhere. We had to basically stuff like that, or just take like you would take in a normal bus trip for Parks and Rec, find a cool place to go and load everybody up and then just go
Yeah.
do that. So it was more like working at a glorified gym, but that's where the Wi-Fi was too.
Mhm.
So if you were not in that building or near it, you had no access to internet. I don't know if that's changed since I've been there years
Uh-huh.
ago, but so it was kind of like a big hub for like everyone hanging out to come there. So
Yeah.
a lot of fun. And, you know, you lived in a cabin, you walked out and elk were outside your door. So definitely something I'm so glad I did when
Right.
I was young.
All right. So for the normal American listener, they just think parks and it's just all the same. But maybe you can help explain the difference between like the national parks, like these Yellowstones and the Grand Canyons, and then the versus, or not versus, as opposed to like the community park where you've got like, you know, special events and farmers markets and therapeutic recreation and senior centers and all that kind of stuff. Like, how do you kind of describe that to someone who's not in any version of parks?
Right. Yeah. It's definitely under one big umbrella, which no one
Mhm.
ever tells you. You know, going to school, probably people that I graduated with, there's only a select few of us who are in municipal community
Mhm.
rec. Other people are in large scale corporate event settings or are not even in recreation anymore at all.
Mhm.
But yeah, you in this world, you know, so much stuff is under this recreation umbrella. So whether that's what you're offering in your town or versus large scale, you know, being out in nature, but providing services to people to enjoy, to have fun, and just different opportunities. That's still all that recreation. So there's so many sides to it of, you know, nationally outdoors. It's really just kind of where you
Mm.
think you want your office to be and what's realistic for your family and things like
Yeah.
that. But definitely, you know, if you have a passion for nature and outside, the National Parkway was, you know, was what I loved for sure.
Mhm.
So I think I could still be out there if I didn't apply for a job in my hometown when I graduated
Right.
and moved back to PA. But definitely something, yeah, I'm so thankful that I got to
Yeah.
do and just enjoy being on your own in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. All right. So then you chose to help build your community, create the quality of life for your neighborhood and your town, putting on special events and stuff. So what was kind of your first full-time job into the municipal government, Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, so in my hometown that I lived, a job opened up in our recreation department. So brand new thing, you know, coming out of college, you just want to have a job and having it that you can get paid for and then it's in your field is like a win-win. So it was as a recreation assistant, so kind of like a rec coordinator or someone in an entry-level position. I offered our sports leagues and our summer day camp and community rec programs, special events, you know, everything that everyone does in recreation. And I was there, yeah, for almost 9 years. I ended up getting promoted into another role to be a recreation and community center manager at our same agency. So kind of did everything I just listed, but then also managed our community center and
Mm.
part-time staff and just kind of additional services on top of all of those other fun things we were
Wow.
doing. So that's where I was at until last year. And so now I've been at my new role. And it's about 45 minutes away from where I was before. So it's a whole new community. But I've been here for just hit a year.
Yeah.
So it's cool to get a whole new, you know, community to serve and a whole new everything just to learn new things, how they operate, and just, you know, start from scratch really and see what you can develop and implement in a whole new place. It's
Mm.
challenging, but also so rewarding.
Yeah. All right. So upon graduation, you got your full-time job. Thinking back to, you know, from where you are today to back then, what were some of the early skills that you saw you needed to develop? Because, you know, working in Parks and Rec is like drinking from a fire hose every day about all the stuff you have to get good at. So what were the kind of skill development journey that you had?
Yeah. Really just communication, I think, is the biggest thing that comes to mind. Because whether you're a 15-year-old talking to parents about their child that you're watching, or you have to be able to communicate to the other staff that you're working with or your supervisors. That's a huge thing because you're seeing so many faces. Just being a positive role model too, I think, starts at such a young age because parents leave their kids with you and you're not even an adult yet, but you have
Right.
to, be the best you can be with these kids and have fun, but also have safety as the top priority too.
Yeah.
So I think those two things that I can think back, I learned way young in my career to now is something that I still have to implement daily. So I would say those two things are what really come to mind.
Now, how did you do, or did you ever touch like the project management or the master planning, more the accounting side or the fundraising, or, what exposure did you have to all the other part of Parks and Rec that's not like the programming or athletics or people
Yeah.
management stuff?
I would say early on, without realizing it, you are shown budgets and kind of you can't do anything without money. And how do you get the money? Where does the money come from? If you don't have it, how can you find additional funding? So, yeah, definitely fundraising and scholarships or any kind of sponsorship you kind of dig into teaches you those aspects, which now is way more helpful, being into the master site planning and the, bigger budgets that you're overseeing, older you get and, new jobs that arise. But yeah, definitely, I think budgeting is something that everyone should learn, in whatever role you are in, because you are in charge of something and some kind of funding. So that was something definitely that has helped me to where I am now.
Now, I don't know if in your current position, are you kind of somewhat shielded by a city manager from all the politics, or do you have to kind of show up and, play with the politicians as they kind of roll through your department?
Yeah, honestly, have a good barrier between our department and them, kind of go through our township manager. So we kind of get that little bit of a shield. If there's anything, directives, we are told what they are, and we can have that relationship with them. But really it's kind of separate, and it's kind of reassuring because I know a lot of friends, have a tough time in the political field here. But yeah, luckily thankful for kind of how we operate with that between our departments.
Yeah, we have some guests that have come on, and they almost feel like a politician, and it's not why they got into this, but they're just kind of dragged into it.
You definitely have to find how you maneuver situations and when to bring things up. So it is way more, even for someone who's not into politics at all whatsoever, you have to know how to, play certain games with certain things.
Yeah, because you're over here saying, I'm just trying to do a little, baseball tournament and keep the senior center running, and I don't know how this plays into the political landscape. Can I just take care of our community while you do all that?
It's all related somehow.
Yeah. Now, did you ever mess around with, what do they call them? Like local strategic partners with large employers that, are sponsoring either a new park or maybe a special event, or did you ever kind of have to, because that's can be part of a big chunk of the funding source for cities?
Yeah. Unfortunately not here yet. I'm sure down the line we can look into kind of those bigger partnerships. A lot of our parks have already been, have had master plans done and have been developed. So I'm kind of later in this section of what to do in that realm. So if something down the line opens and we're looking for that funding, we'll definitely bring that up to see large scale partnerships that we can bring into the township, because we do have a lot of larger corporations where we're at. So it's definitely something you need to keep in mind and have those relationships with the right people.
What type of special events do y'all run in your community?
Yeah, so we're kind of smaller based. Myself and my coworker, we took over for two ladies who were here for almost 30 years. So brand new department. When we started a year ago, it was all, take it over, figure it out, go and do it. So they had some really popular, like an old time carnival and fireworks event that's so popular in our township. That's in the summertime. And then like a truck touch event and just some other little senior bingos, gift card bingos, large scale, but like one day,
Yeah.
events. So we just started seeing what we could do with those and then implement some new stuff. We have a sustainability Earth Day shredding event coming up this weekend, which is a brand new thing for us. So just trying to bring some new services to the residents of what they can benefit from and do some environmental education along the way. So starting to get into new events as well.
I think I'm going to make a t-shirt off of that line you just said. It's going to be like the entry level to Parks and Rec is take it over, figure it out, go and do it.
That's kind of just what you're thrown in to do, and you do it, and no questions asked. So it's not abnormal.
Yep. As I interview people and I hear their journey similar to yours, it's like, I've graduated. They're like, here's a senior center. Here's the keys. Good luck.
Yeah. Obviously, we hired you to do the job and you're going to figure it out. But it's when you get those keys, you're like, what the heck am I doing?
Yes.
And who gave me these keys to figure it out? But you got to think you're not, 16 anymore, and you should be capable of figuring it out.
But it's such a great environment to, I guess, improve yourself and your skill set. I mean, you're getting like a PhD in all these things, and it's real time. It's not just like in theory or in study. This is how a city should work. It's like
I heard someone recently say something in one of our sessions we went to, or on a call. I can't remember who it was, but they said in Parks and Rec, you don't know a lot about a lot about one thing, but you know a lot about, or a little about everything.
Right.
And that's so true, because you're not a doctor with an expertise in something. You literally know so much, and you know a little bit about it to keep you in the loop and learn about it. But that's why everyone says you wear a million hats in Parks and Rec, and it's not, it is the truth, because one day you're doing something and the next you have to answer to something totally out of your ballpark. So
yes. Never a dull moment, not a boring day ever, I don't think.
No.
Okay, so we're kind of at the halfway point. I want to play two little promos. This is where we typically, in the middle of the show, we promote the state conventions that we've attended. And we just got back from two awesome conventions. In January, late January, we went to IRPA, which does an amazing job. And then on the back of that, I think, it's probably been 4 or 5 weeks, we went out to California. And so we made a promo. So we interviewed like 30 to 40 people live from the event, and was able to get some vendors, some speakers, some directors, and it was just amazing to attend. So if you didn't attend your state event, hopefully this kind of guilt trips you into what you missed so that you'll attend next year's. So Jovi, why don't you play those two? And when we come back, we'll finish up our conversation with Kelsey.
It started with a shared purpose, a vision to bring people together, to inspire, to learn, and to lead. And at CPRS Conference 2026, that vision came to life. From every conversation to every connection made, this wasn't just an event, it was a community in motion. Ideas were challenged, perspectives were expanded, and leaders stepped forward, ready to shape the future of parks and recreation. At DPRS Media Network, we had the privilege of capturing it all. The passion, the innovation, the stories that deserve to be seen and heard. Because these moments don't just stay here, they ripple outward, into communities, into programs, into lives. To the organizers, the speakers, the partners, and every single attendee, thank you. For showing up, for sharing your voice, and for being part of something bigger than all of us. This is more than a conference. This is a movement. And DPRS Media Network will continue to tell your story every step of the way. We'll see you at the next one. This year, we didn't just attend an event. We became part of something bigger. IPRA 2026 brought together leaders, innovators, and community builders, all united by one mission: to strengthen parks, recreation, and the people they serve. For DPRS Media Network, it was an honor to join IPRA 2026 and take part in meaningful, real-time conversations, capturing stories and amplifying voices that matter. To IPRA, thank you for creating a space where collaboration thrives and the future of parks and recreation is shaped together. We extend our deepest gratitude to Amelia and all our partners who made these live interviews possible. IPRA 2026 wasn't just an event, it was a reminder that when communities connect and stories are shared, impact follows. From all of us at DPRS Media Network, thank you, IPRA. Thank you, partners and sponsors. We're honored to stand with you and excited for what's next.
All right. So as part of the show, I wanted to talk about YPN because you spoke about YPN, correct, at NRPA?
I say that again.
The Young Professionals Network?
Yes, I'm a part of it, but yeah, I have not did not speak on it at NRPA.
Yeah. So tell us about your involvement in YPN. How did you discover it and kind of what did it do? Are you still a part of it?
Yeah, sure. So recently, I guess in the last couple months, honestly, YPN put out something they were looking for people to volunteer for the rec club, the new, or second year it's been happening, of just another time to meet in the YPN network just to go over certain topics. So it was something that I've never been a part of anything with NRPA, other than just being a member. It was something in my last job that we had to kind of choose between the national conference or our state organization's annual conference. So I've unfortunately never got to go to the conference yet. So it's something that now that I'm in a new role, I'm looking to,
Nice.
be a part of it and just meet so many cool people. So, so I joined the rec club. So I'm kind of on the back end of the YPN group who puts all those things together, and just a really cool, way to meet people and just the awesome team that's behind it, and just kind of just learning from them what such awesome things young people are doing, in our communities, and kind of just share ideas and network that way. So so that's been going great, and it's just such an awesome organization to be a part of. And people reached out to me then and were like, hey, how do I get a part of this? Or if I'm old, can I still come? And we're like, oh my gosh, yes. So it's kind of cool that, we're trying to get PA on the board to try to share with our people here that these organizations or these networks exist and use them as resources. So excited to share on that.
So the rec club, is that kind of sits under the umbrella of YPN?
Yeah.
And it's just a way for you to, like it is like a club where you can but it's kind of still skewed more towards the newer people in the industry.
Yeah. Really just depends. We're doing them 4 times a year, and they're on a different day than the club or than the network meets. So it's just a second, kind of like twice a month type of thing. You can jump in and learn about, whatever our topic is. So we did one in February on summer camps that I led. And then we just had one this past week on AI that we had Nile speak on. So just really cool to, now that we're getting into the summer season and spring stuff, and how to kind of just implement that in our towns. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And so for those that don't know, the Young Professionals Network is free with your membership of NRPA. So you've already paid for it. Just join it. If you're new to Parks and Recreation and you have a membership there, and y'all meet 11 times a year remotely, kind of like in a Zoom call, and then at the big annual convention, y'all all get together and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's definitely something that you can, even if you don't want to speak, hide behind your camera and just listen. So it's definitely something if, you're trying to learn or connect with people, it's a great way, as well as the Leadership Development Network. That's another awesome resource. So just something too, if, I never really knew about them before. So that's why now hearing about them, there's so much out there for, people to bounce ideas off of others and get involved. So it's definitely something I'm trying to push to others.
Yeah. Well, we actually have, one of the first people I interviewed was a young woman by the name of Molly Keys. I don't know if you ran into her, but she was last year's president of YPN. And when I had her on the show, she was like, "Can I do the YPN?" I was like, "What's YPN?" And she's like, "Craig, you've never heard of YPN?" I was like, "I just started this media company. I'm still
Yeah.
learning." And she said, "Well, you got to get connected." And so I got connected to YPN, and then I realized probably about half the states have their own local chapter now of
Yeah.
YPN, and I think YPN's coming up on their 10th anniversary. So it's actually been going on for a
Wow.
little bit of time. So one of the first shows that we created outside of this show, which is the leadership series, was our Young Professionals Network show. We started it on Fridays, but then I had two interns that actually ran the show for DPRS Media, and they were like, "Craig, you know Friday's the worst day to try to
Yeah.
get college kids to show up. Can we move it to Thursday at
You
5
live and you
p.m.?"
learn, right?
Yes. So we moved that show to 5 p.m. on Thursdays. And so anybody that, whether they're a young professional or you're welcome to come to the show, or if you're a professor that teaches, about parks and recreation, we'd love to just help tie what y'all are doing into our network and just help you get if you have any announcements to make, just come on the show and, make the announcements about the rec club. If you can send me some more information on our next show, I'll just kind of help get the word out to our community.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. So what about this director school?
Yeah, so that was amazing. So NRPA does schools throughout the year. So whether that's directors, supervisory, maintenance, revenue, you just go, and it's a 2-year process. So it's a full week 1 year, and then the next year you're year 2, you go the same another week, and it just goes over everything of kind of just learning. If you're a new director, if you're someone who's been there a while, or if you're just anyone looking to get into a director role in the future, classes are tied exactly to kind of what we do on the daily and things we can implement in our towns, learn. And so we just had that actually about a little bit over a month ago. We were in Cincinnati and just met amazing people, people that, I would never have connected with before. We're all in different kind of organizations or different roles within those, whether they're countywide. I mean, a township, people didn't even know what a township was in Pennsylvania. We're a little different than everyone. Park districts, just crazy, of sized organizations. But so just people connect on just being humans too, and going over, challenges, and just you have a lot of fun and you learn a lot, and days are packed full. And it was just such a rewarding experience to go and do that.
All right. So let's dig a little into your personal why. Why have you chosen to dedicate your life to the industry of Parks and Rec, and how does it bring fulfillment and purpose into your life?
Gosh, good question. I think just, I'm a very outgoing, energetic, love nature, just easygoing person. And I think the people that you meet in this industry and this field, and even just classmates of mine, were just the coolest people. They're all down to earth. You're all doing it, for a bigger purpose of just, it feels good. You have fun doing it, and you just enjoy the connection that you make with either people in your town or with each other. So it's definitely something, everyone says it's long hours, or you're working nights and weekends and dealing with some terrible people, when you're on the phone, or someone's, complaining in your face, but you walk away and you come back the next day and it's something brand new. So I think just, the fun is always something I come back to. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. So that, and then just community, whether it's you're being in a new community, or like I said, the people that you meet along the way becomes your full double and your circle of people, and you'll always have them to lean on. So it's definitely awesome.
You may have answered my second question just now, but I'll give you another shot at it in case you want to change it up a little. So help me pitch the industry. Imagine you're standing in front of a group of college kids that don't know what they want to do with their life, have never heard of Parks and Rec as a full-time job, even though they probably were a lifeguard or cutting grass when they were in high school. What would be your message to young people on why they should choose this industry?
Yeah, something that we've been discussing too, because on our level, we're trying to reach out to these communities or these colleges around us now to just introduce it again, because a lot of our states have actually done away with our major, and it's hard to get new individuals in the field. So again, they've never heard of this and are, have no idea what Parks and Rec even is. So I would just say it's really just, goes back to the fun and community. It's just really like, you're going to be doing this, you're going to be multitasking, you're going to be problem solving, but you're also going to have fun doing it. And you're always going to have something new to jump into or figure out. And then just meeting a lot of cool people along the way too.
Yeah.
So it's really just, if you're a good multitasker and you might have some ADHD, or you might need to jump around from things and have a million tabs open. But if you're that kind of person who can manage that, it's definitely the fun in it, and it's not going to be boring. And it's really rewarding, at the end of the day, to see a special event come to life and have kids smiling at the playground program, and, adults participating in your sports leagues, that, their kids are in bed at home and they're out recreating with friends. So it's really just, the aspects that you can bring some service to individuals that they're going to enjoy. I think the reward beats all that too.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain, but if you can give them a little bit of what you do and why you do it, I think that comes a long way.
No, there's so far this show alone, I think they should just watch this episode if they want to get a taste for it. Oftentimes in this industry, we're quick to highlight, well, you don't get in it for the money kind of stuff, but there's so much more value aside from a paycheck that a job can give. You can either be behind a desk just grinding away and it's like soul crushing, and you get a nice paycheck, but who are you becoming in the process? And I look at this industry as, if you say, what are my different paychecks? One is in dollars, but the other one is in all this skill acquisition. I can't think of a better industry that just, just piles on skills that you have to get good at so many things. And so upon your exit, you're such a capable person. Maybe talk a little bit more about all the different skills that you've picked up along the way and who it kind of made of you as a person.
Yeah, I fully agree with that too. I think, again, without realizing it, anybody in Parks and Rec just can have, an attribute of things about them that people will not relate to unless they're in the field too. But like we talked about budgeting, your finance aspect, you're talking to people on the phone and emails, and, professionalism comes with everything you have to do on the back end of things. Community service is such a big thing because we're working for our towns and for the people. So you're not thinking about you personally, you're thinking about other people's needs, which is, I think, a huge thing, because then it's showing you, your empathy and your caring towards them and what their needs and wants are. When you're looking to better, a park or a facility, you're looking at safety aspects, and then you're looking at how to use those taxpayer dollars, appropriately. And if you do need to get funding, partnerships, you're learning those communication skills on how to work together for the betterment of something. So there's a million more, but just, how to write an email. I think some people might not learn that anymore, and we do that a million times a day. So just that, and then marketing is a huge thing now, where we're going with social media and difference of flyers and, newspaper ads, and how we don't use them as much anymore, and just kind of staying on top of trends and, upcoming everything. I think we're always on the forefront of what people are wanting, and because we're working towards that every day. So definitely just a million different things, which is why I think I go back to how cool Parks and Rec people are, because they're smart without ever telling you they're smart. They might not be book smart, but we have all the rules of everything you need to do to succeed.
Right. Yeah, they really are such capable people that can just, we'll go back to your quote, take over, figure things out, and get things done. I'm going to make
a couple words to make it more inappropriate. But.
I'm making a t-shirt for that. This industry really can just churn out some amazing leaders. So, I mean, if you're a young person and you're looking to become a leader and you just need the opportunity to just hone your skills and, earn your stripes, this industry will throw you into very adult situations that you will have to get good at. You don't have to, I mean, yeah, you could just take a much smaller path and maybe just keep a park clean, which is beautiful. But if you choose to be a leader, this industry can be like a jetpack.
And I
'Cause you
think
have-
once you see how people operate and what you can do in your role, you can look at other people and say, like, what's my next step? What does
Right.
that look like to expand my knowledge and implement fully what I'm capable of doing? And
Yep.
there's so much potential and opportunity for people and for growth. So going back to the young people, I think, because we all were them once, but now everyone coming into the field is younger and brings different, characteristics, and how they operate is brand new. So it's like we can learn from everyone, younger and older, but then also just, promoting them and what they're good at, bringing that into the field of how we can leverage that and, make them, give them the knowledge that we were given at one point too.
Yeah. Yeah. And even though the opportunities are there for you, obviously some part of you wanted to be a leader in this industry. So what parts of you kind of helped you on that journey? Or maybe what traits that you had to bring to the table, so that, if you want to be a leader, what are the kind of traits or skills that you have to bring to the table so that you can take advantage of all that Parks and Rec offers?
Yeah. Confidence, I think, is a huge thing. Just looking back on, being confident in yourself and knowing what you can bring to the table and what you're capable of, being in the same job for however many years, and you're at a standstill, knowing you can do more. You have to be confident and believing in yourself and always being your biggest cheerleader. I've always, kept that at the forefront for, whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it for myself type of thing. But yeah, definitely just being who I am. I guess that's really tough to put down like some definition of why I wanted to be a leader. I mean, if you talk to my friends, they would tell you, I'm the one who's talking to the strangers to get them to take a picture of us, or, like,
Yep.
hey, talk to the waiter. I don't want to have to do that. But like the outgoing one who they always know will kind of lead the group in something. So it's like not afraid to say yes, not afraid to jump in and do it. So kind of just having that attitude of, hey, I'm ready for whatever comes my way. And, whether that's leading a team behind me or just paving the way in certain aspects from someone my age or someone, who looks like me or in my area. It's just kind of just doing what you do and believing in yourself to do it, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Kelsey, you remind me of that person that we all know. It's like, if you want to get something done, find the busiest person you know and give it to them, because they know how to get stuff done.
That would probably be what I put as my quote on my t-shirt.
Yep.
Because it's kind of just like, it's so, I can't say it's hard to say no, but it's easy to say yes. And knowing, you can do it. And if it's just one more task to add to your plate that's going to help a different department or help someone else, I'm always there to do that, whether that puts my stuff a little farther on the back burner. But at the end of the day, you're going to get it done at some point. So
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a daughter in ballet, and her teacher was, she wasn't from Russia, but from one of those areas of the world. And one of the first quotes that she came home with is, the hardest thing to do is to make it look easy. And I think Parks and Rec professionals are doing insanely challenging things with such grace. Where does that come from? Is that something you've always just been a go-getter when you were little, or learned along the way, or a little bit of both? Or
I guess I would also just say multitasking. I mean, I think back to college, or I think back to having 4 jobs always growing up, and it's not that like, hey, I wanted to work as much as I could. It was more, I love doing different things.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing the same job, I might get bored with it. So if I'm doing a couple side jobs or things that help someone else, or being a part of different boards or organizations, it's like, I love just soaking in that knowledge and doing different things. So I think it just comes with that too, of just, other people might be totally opposite, but I like doing different things and multitasking with what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
that comes natural, I guess, to a lot of Parks
Yeah.
and Rec professionals.
Well, it's definitely a good fit for you. I think when you were made, they had Parks and Rec in mind when they built you. Whatever factory you came out of, it was like, this is a Parks and Rec girl for sure. All right. So coming towards the end, we have a question for you. This comes from our previous guest, which was John Lewis in Rexburg, Idaho, originally from Georgia. Had a great interview yesterday. If y'all didn't see it, y'all should go watch that one. But his question for you is, what has been the most influential event that contributed to your success when you were young?
Wow. That's a great question from him. We'll have to let him know that. He's stumping me.
That's it.
Gosh, I think it's, I don't know if there is a direct answer to that. I think it's just how you were brought up and what things you were a part of, like being in different organizations or clubs when I was in school and playing multiple sports each season. And then just always having a job and balancing friends and everything. I can't think of one exact thing, that made me in this field for a reason or influenced me in any way. I think it's been a multitude of things. So I really think it's just your whole upbringing and, your life experiences that kind of attest to that.
Yeah. That's a similar answer that we had a Major League Baseball player come on the show in the early days. And then we have the Youth Sports Mastery Show with Aaron Locks. And they focus a lot on rec sports. And when those pro athletes come on because he has a lot of pro athletes that come on the show, and a lot of them grew up in rec sports. And when they ask a similar question, they're like, I played every sport. And I didn't even know I was going to become a Major League Baseball player, but I had such diversity of sports. Yeah. And it's kind of a similar answer, is that, having an active life that has a multitude of things that you're just almost like a multidisciplinary approach makes you just an overall better athlete. But the same goes for your professional career.
Mm-hmm. And just trying new things. And, I think of rec programs my parents put me in that, I was never going to be a professional teacher or someone who did clay, but like tried a bunch of different services that were in my community that I look back and I'm like, even if I didn't love it or didn't end up to do anything near that, it was just some kind of recreation that at the time probably filled my cup and kind of just, got me out of my comfort zone. So I think that also just helps of trying to, put your kids and, the young people in certain things and then let them become who they're going to become, from it.
Yeah. So all parents listening, listen up. Try not to pigeonhole your kid into baseball 24/7 nonstop for 10 years.
Yeah.
Get them involved, and you can go to every Parks and Rec community in America has, either a STEM program, dancing classes, plus the sports, swim. I mean, there's so much that you can get your children involved in.
Seeing someone else's playground and what's not going to work for your 1-year-old that you want to take if they're all 5 to 12 playgrounds, near you. And just, there's always something to learn and take back, personally from being out with your family. So,
yeah. All right. So what question would you like to leave for my next guest?
Oh gosh. Oh, that's a good one. So what did you say your next guest, is going to be?
It's going to be another director like yourself. I'm not sure who it is. Hold on, right? I can tell you exactly. Hold on. We got all this software that keeps track of all this. It makes it so much easier. All right. So Monday. Oh, this is going to go to Sevi Ghosh. I don't know if you've met him.
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh. He's like a melee bot kind of guy.
Okay.
Jamie Sabak. Same kind of work.
Okay, cool.
But he's an active Parks and Rec director. So he's actually does consulting, but he's also runs his own ship just like you.
Okay. Let's give him the question. What is your dream job? And he cannot answer with what he's currently employed in. And if he wasn't doing this, what would he be doing? Kind of like a double question.
This is a tough question. What is your dream job? Not Parks and Rec.
Yeah, because most will say, oh, I'm living it every day. And they're not telling the truth or something to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got to know your answer to this. What would be
Oh,
your answer to that
um,
question?
that is a toughie. That's probably why I'm
It
giving it to
is.
him. I don't know. I always feel like, you look back in high school and they're like, you're in ninth grade and 12th grade, and they're like, what's your job? And I wanted to be like a hairstylist or something. And I'm like, why would I ever think that? And then I wanted to be a teacher, and I
Yeah.
interned with kindergarten and gym and everything. But then it all kind of comes full circle to Parks and Rec. But I don't know. I think it would just be cool to do stuff outside, whether
Yeah.
that's, mine would probably say National Park Service if there
Yeah.
was something overall near Pennsylvania that I didn't have to move for and be kind of stuck in one spot. But kind of just bigger picture, something for the good of people, and, get to travel to more national parks.
That's a tough one, because when you find your passion and find a way for it to pay you, it's like, I can't believe they're paying me for this job.
Yeah.
Like, I'd do it for free if I could. Well, fantastic. Kelsey, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's really been an amazing story that you have, and you're doing some amazing work. And I can tell you get a ton of fulfillment from your career choice. And definitely, if there's anything we can do to help YPN or the Rec Club, if y'all just want to come make announcements, we have a exploding audience in all things Parks and Rec, and that's 100% of our community is all Parks and Recreation. So you're welcome to come back anytime and make announcements, or however we can help. We definitely want to help get the word out about why Parks and Rec is such an amazing career path and industry, and all the great work that they do for every community in America.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And we'll definitely take you up on that offer. And yeah, thank you again so much for having me. And it was so exciting and so fun to talk about Parks and Rec and everything that, we love and why we do it. So
yeah. Well, keep up the hard work. You're keeping our country and our communities a beautiful place to live.
All right. Thanks, Craig.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. So, man, that was an amazing, it's just good to see when someone falls in love with what they do. And that really is a common thread and a super common story across the entire industry of Parks and Recreation, of people have just found their passion and really beautify their communities, leaving legacy, making a difference, creating impact. And if you're a young kid out there looking to make an impact and have your career mean something more than just a paycheck for yourself, but you want to see that you're making a difference in your community with, little children or families or seniors or beautiful parks to walk through in your community, this is it. That you have found it. This is the industry you want to work in. And you get to meet great people like Kelsey, and there are Kelseys all over America that it's very similar passion that you see in this industry. And they get to do a lot of amazing stuff. So appreciate everything that you're doing, Kelsey. Keep up the great work. So glad you came on the show today. All right. So this is it. The next show is our 500th episode. And it just so happened to we don't know where it's going to land. It landed on the Youth Sports Mastery Show, Aaron Locks, which we're running behind schedule. So in 9 minutes, go grab another cup of coffee, use the restroom if you need it, and stay tuned. We're going to start the Youth Sports Mastery Show, and it's only going to be like a half-hour show because we have a very special gift that we made for the entire industry. Big shout out to Chris, who it brought tears to my eye. If y'all liked the show that we made, the commercial we made for the industry on why Parks and Rec is essential, you were going to love this one. And so we're going to play that. And then we have quite a few special guests coming on. I think we've got Jason Hermes, Wesley King, Liddy Gutfeld, Joseph, a couple other people that might stop in and say hello. I literally just sent a bunch of text messages. So I'm sorry if I told you last minute. We'll have to do this again on the 600th or 700th episode. That's going to be starting here in about 8 minutes. So stay tuned, and I will see y'all there. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much for everything y'all are doing. I'm speaking to all the Parks and Rec professionals. Y'all are doing an amazing job. Y'all don't get thanked enough. And this has been the greatest journey of my life, creating this media company to tell the stories of Parks and Recreation. So this is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman, signing off for another episode and getting ready to record our 500th episode. See y'all there in a minute. Love you guys. Thanks. Bye.
Before the game, before the lights, before the pressure, there's a moment most people never see. Welcome to the Athlete's Commute, a podcast distributed by DPRS Media Network, co-produced by Her Sports, and hosted by Jordan Ziff. Each episode, Jordan gets behind the wheel, driving athletes to practice, to training, to game day, while getting to know who they really are beyond the jersey. The mindset, the grind, the sacrifices, the moments no one talks about. No scripts, no filters, just real conversations in real motion. Because every athlete has a journey, and every journey deserves to be heard. This is the Athlete's Commute. Buckle up.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.